Beef Heifer Development, Lesson 2, Prior to Weaning. Certainly, sire selection is an important part of heifer development. Looking at herd performance records, you may focus on birth weight, growth traits, structural soundness, and we're going to put a little bit of additional focus here, because we're talking about heifers, on scrotal circumference. As sire scrotal circumference increases, sibling age at puberty decreases. A rough estimate, 1 centimeter increase in scrotal circumference, you can expect those heifers to hit puberty about 4 to 5 days earlier. There is admittedly some variation around that given nutrition and environmental factors as well. The selection of bull scrotal circumference may improve a number of female reproductive traits. For example, age at first conception as yearlings, there's a positive relationship with larger scrotal circumference, as well as heifer pregnancy rate. Focusing a little bit here on nutrition, the effect of prepartum energy intake on calves. So while they're in utero, while the animal's pregnant, you can impact herd performance of the calf. Here in this study, there was during pregnancy, some animals were fed low energy, where other group were fed maintenance energy, and the ones that were fed maintenance had a higher birth weight, correspondingly higher weights at 105 days and also 205 days, additional almost like 30 pounds of weaning weight. And that's just showing you the impact of how we feed the pregnant cow. Cow health and reproductive traits affect calf health and long-term productivity. So, a failure of passive transfer. Calves with inadequate immunoglobulin concentrations at 24 hours of age were 3 to 9 times more likely to become sick and 5 times more likely to die prior to weaning. If they get less than 800 milligrams of immunoglobulins, that's considered inadequate. So calf losses are affected by colostrum. Growth performance was affected in calves with inadequate immunoglobulin and plasma protein due to its effect on neonatal morbidity. Therefore, it is important that they get quality colostrum at that time of birth. And you see, even in calves with inadequate plasma protein are much more great to be sick at the feedlot, so post-weaning. So that time period in late pregnancy, but also as soon as they're born, affects how the colostrum quality is. So you need to take care of that pregnant heifer so that she and the pregnant cow, so they're producing quality colostrum. So colostrum is important for future health. They affect other factors affecting quality, can be genetic composition, the age of the dam. We expect probably a cow that's 5 and 6 years old produce higher quality colostrum than, say, a cow that's 10. And then nutritional status of the dam. Is she fat or is she thin? The animal on the left is a little under in body condition. You can see the ribs on that animal. The picture in the middle is an animal probably in adequate body condition. Even the animal to the right, adequate body condition, and that may affect colostrum quality. Body condition and calving ease and colostrum intake. If you have a lot of calving difficulty, the calf is slower to find the teat. Also, when they do find the teat, they may not drink as much as they should of that first milk. Now, colostrum from another cow, that's fine. Ideally collected and fed within 24 hours. It can be collected and frozen for up to a year. You might want to store it in pints and quarts for easy thawing. And once thawed, don't refreeze it. Colostrum and Biosecurity, get colostrum from a herd that does not have Johne's disease. You can certainly use commercial colostrum as a substitute. So immediately post-calving, Cows must lactate to maintain the calf. They must undergo uterine involution. They must start recycling and be ready to be rebred. This is looking at the effect of postpartum energy intake on calf weights. And we're talking about how we're feeding the cow. So here are feeding the cow a lower energy diet, a high energy diet, and looking at weights of those calves 60 days out from birth. There you see the high energy calves are heavier at 60 days, correspondingly at 105 days, and about 30 pounds at weaning, heavier. So certainly nutrition after calving of the cow impacts that calf. And let's look at the relationship between cow size and milk production. So we've got cows that are 1,000 pounds to 1,200 pounds. Within that weight range, we look at average milk production and superior milk production. Correspondingly, yes, there is an increase in the amount of energy needed as cows get bigger. But look at the impact of milk production within each weight range. It can be significant on how much increase in energy is needed, and also correspondingly in crude protein level. So your forage base needs to match the amount of milk you can produce. Utilize pasture to maximize the use of cows in harvesting forage. Make them do the work. If grazable forage becomes inadequate, early weaning calves or creep feeding certainly can be considered. Creep feeding, not a problem if the heifers don't become fleshy. If they become fleshy, you can get fat deposits in the udder area, and that affects future milk production. There's perhaps less concern about creep feeding and fat deposits in the udder with larger frame heifers. With creep feeding, probably you get more impact with it later in the grazing season when forage quality is decreasing. So I wouldn't expect necessarily creep feed in lush spring pasture. Implants. Check to see if the implant you're using is cleared for suckling calves. And if implanting, maybe you wait 2 to 3 months of age and don't re-implant. Another option is any of those heifers in the latter third of the calving season, maybe you just implant those, since they're unlikely, at least in a commercial cow herd, to be a source of replacement heifers. You're really going to look at those heifers that are older, that were born earlier in the calving season, as replacement heifer candidates.